Welcome back to the Evolv podcast.
Oh,
We're on air.
we're back. Episode 4.
This is episode 4. Now, I had the expectation, honestly, that I was going to feel a bit flat today.
Why is that?
Like, I felt like I was going to be really shit, off my game, not being able to talk too well and congruently, because we just got out of an 84-hour water fast.
That was brutal.
Oh,
good.
brutal was an understatement. I've never looked at food the same in my life. I'll tell you that
Crazy.
much.
It was let's say a changing experience.
You know what? You know that they talk a lot about like what are psychedelic experiences, right? They talk a lot about psychedelic experiences like mushrooms and LSD and stuff, and we have seen like read studies, and I did stuff at uni about how transformative those things can be. I feel like I went through a mushroom experience by just not eating food for 84 hours.
It was
so
crazy.
if you want a psychedelic experience
Without the psychedelics.
without the psychedelics, try a water fast.
It was crazy. The first day was alright. Could just get through it. You're obviously thinking about food like non-stop. It was just like, oh, I can't wait till this freaking fast is over. I can't wait.
Yes.
And then day 2 was like, holy crap, this is going to be hard. And then day 3 was just like, all right,
Let this be over.
you're either going to pass out or like, I don't know. It was just weird. And then we had a soccer game on the Thursday.
Oh.
And
We were
we
stressing
just-
about that game for the whole water fast.
We decided to break it. So it was meant to be a 4-day fast, but we decided to break it on the 3rd day.
The
So
fourth.
on the 4th day.
So we stopped eating on Sunday night.
Yeah. So
and
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday at around 12 o'clock we decided to stop it
Yeah.
because we needed to fuel our body.
Hence why
for the
84
game.
hours instead of 96. Is
Whatever the math was. It was
It's
gonna
24 times 4 is 96. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were gonna
Quick
do
math.
we were gonna do that. But yeah, we decided to play it safe and
And play it safe we did.
yeah, play it safe we did, and I'm glad we did because the thing is with a podcast with a fast, you can't throw yourself straight back into like solid foods. Like you can't overwhelm the body with too much. So our friend Vincent, he did a bit of like a study or a bit of a research on it, and it was good because Brendon and Vinny, they both have done one before, but this was my first one, so I had no idea what
You were getting yourself
I
into.
was getting myself into at all. And then each day was just a new experience. It was more the mental side of it that I realized, holy crap, like I can't eat. I don't need to eat, but I can't eat. And I was just playing table tennis in my head, just going back and forth. But we eased back into it on the Thursday. We had miso soup. It was I don't know what that miso soup
I
was.
know.
But that
Oh
was
my
like
God.
the best miso soup
I
ever.
can't believe it. I don't know where he found that thing, right? So I've been to so many places. I always order miso soup whenever I go to an Asian restaurant
Yeah.
or have sushi or something like that. But that miso soup just was next level.
Oh, it was so
Maybe it was
good.
because it was the first piece of food or first piece of anything but water
Yeah.
that went into our system for 4 days. And maybe that was like
It started getting
Bang.
to the point where water was like nothing. Like there was no, like, you know when you have a fresh glass of water and you're like, oh, that's so good, that tastes amazing. And it got to like...
oh, actually, can I get that?
Okay. Speaking of water. But yeah, like, I don't know, it was really weird. Like, the water started like fading and I just didn't have any taste buds left because everything was like cleansed from my body. So I couldn't really have like any sort of flavor. And as soon as that miso soup hit my tongue, as hot as it was, I did not care if it burnt my tongue. It was just like straight down the gullet, but it was so good. And then we had a juice as well. So you're not meant to, as I said...
three or 4 liters of juice.
Oh my God, it was so
It was like
good.
a liter each, but that's still...
Yeah, but
It
we...
was like kiwis, watermelon, pineapple juice. Oh,
And
it was
I
so
felt like
good.
my stomach was this. It felt like my stomach was this because we finished that
And we were full.
And we were full. And then we were like,
To be fair, it was a liter of juice.
it was a liter.
Just think about how much fruit it would have been in that thing.
But it was good. It was definitely a mental challenge that I never thought I could overcome or get through. So it was like good to sort of see how my body could react to something that was outside its comfort zone, but then also push the mental fortitude of myself.
It was very different.
Yeah.
And like honestly, even though I've done a water fast before, I feel like having done one before, it doesn't prepare you for another one. So even though I've done a 3-day water fast before, so 72 hours, and this time it still felt just as hard.
Yeah.
It was just as difficult because I don't know if I've said it to the boys. I feel like I'm a massive fatty, right? I love food.
Food,
I
bro.
love
Us three are
fucking
like the
food.
big foodies of the group. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
massive foodies.
when it comes to food, there's obviously other boys that are foodies, but like when it comes to food, like it just hits different.
I'd
Food
say
hits
Michael's like probably the biggest foodie, but
Yeah.
in terms of like going for like the exquisite like feeds and all that type of stuff. But in terms of like who eats the most food, who loves food the most, probably us two and Vinny.
It's not something you should do a lot of. Like that's where I learned from the boys. Like the first thing I said, I was like, oh, I've got a big week this week of eating food, and like maybe next week I'll just do a 48-hour fast. And they were like, no, that's where you get bad habits and you start like falling into the trap of like doing it more often to flush out your system, but it's actually not healthy. So it was like a good learning experience.
Yeah, just think about how you felt during that 4 days.
Oh,
like
no.
the one thing about the water fast, and this is something that I want everyone to know about as well, because you even said it the whole time. Probably after day one felt alright. I still went to the gym. I still did my normal day, and I was fine. Day 2, day 3, and day 4 until we ate, I felt like a zombie.
Flat.
I felt like a zombie. I felt like I was just going through motions. I wasn't tired per se.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually feeling tired at all. But like my body wasn't feeling right. I definitely wasn't on my A game. I definitely wasn't feeling 100% because not even because it was just like I felt like low energy, but also high energy at the same time. It was just a different form of energy, and the way I'll describe it is your body wants carbohydrates to run. It's basically like, think of it like this. This is one of my analogies, right? It's like you have a petrol car and you're filling it up with diesel for 4 days.
It's not gonna turn out.
It's, oh no, it's actually probably not that. Okay, your car, this is one. This actually makes the most sense. Your car says it needs 98 unleaded petrol, but you're giving it 810. Or actually, no, you're giving it a methylated spirits instead. So your car is definitely not going to run right, but it's still going to run.
Yeah.
But it's not running the right way or how it wants to run.
Yeah.
So it's going to be sluggish. It's probably not going to. It's going to take a while to turn on.
Performance
drops, everything like that. But it's still going to have enough energy to drive. Same as us. We had enough energy to go through our whole day. We didn't have, still worked, still did everything, except couldn't exert ourselves to that next level. So couldn't train. Even lifting up a chair, these chairs here, for example, I couldn't lift it over a fence. Where something like that is like second nature, like come on, just lift it over. And
There's
today,
just no energy in your body.
No energy in my body at all. Like even today, just before when we were setting up for this podcast, I picked up the chair and I was like, "Oh man, Ray, look this
I got my
effortless."
energy back.
Lifted it up, and it was like, "Mate, too much," because I hit the lights at the top.
How did you feel your sleep was?
Oh, that's another thing. My sleep was fucked. Fucked. Okay, you know I don't like swearing too much, but my sleep was fucked. I have always been mad with sleep. Always good with sleep. You remember that from Europe, like I can sleep like that. I remember there was one night where I got home at 6:30. I came into the room. I was like, "Ray, how long do we have before our flight? Before I have to leave our flight?" And he was like, "Right now, exactly 33 minutes before you have to get up and leave." And I was like, "Done."
How like a lie.
I was like, "Wake me up." Slept for like 28 minutes. He woke me up. We're done. We were ready to go. But I've always been a really good sleeper. But during this water fast, I probably averaged 2 to 3 hours of sleep over the 4 days.
Yeah, it was bad. The last day was the worst for me. I feel like I actually didn't sleep the last night.
Oh, you didn't?
Nah. I went to bed at 11. I like couldn't sleep. I was just restless. I had water just to sort of get me through and maybe help me sleep a little bit better. And then I had to drop my brother off to work, came back, watched TV because I was just like wide awake. I was like sucked because there was no freaking nothing in my system, and I was just like, nah, this is bad. So then all I was just mentally preparing for that 12 o'clock to hit when Vinny came with the food, the miso soup and the drink. And then
that's when we felt good.
we just came back to life. But performance-wise, we played the game that night and
Oh,
felt
yeah.
good. I actually felt decent. Like
Yes.
I think going into it with the headspace of, okay, we're going to introduce liquids slowly. We went home and we had a meal as well, and then we went to the game. So we
very light meal.
very light meal, but we sort of eased back into it very swiftly. So it wasn't like a big shock to the system, but it worked out really well for us that we did introduce the liquid-based foods first, and then sort of went into a big meal, and then we finished it off with some nice El Jannah.
Oh, I'm writing a blog about the water fast this week actually, or next week.
It would be
So
already
in this
out.
podcast, it would already be out on now. Once this is posted, it's already going to be out. So I'll link it into this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll actually call this one the water fast.
The water fast. With the
About
thumbnail.
So with the performance, funny enough, this was our third game. So third week of football.
We won, didn't we?
Yeah, we won.
I was in another world, man. I was in another world.
It's funny, but so this is our third week of football, and usually it takes us around 5-6 weeks to get the fitness up because look, we're already fit guys. We're already doing our training, like cardio, whatever. But soccer or football in general is a different level or different type of fitness to just running in a straight line, endurance-wise, or cycling or swimming or gym. Because if you focus on gym training, you're going to become good at gym training. If you focus on swimming, you're going to become good at swimming. It doesn't mean it's going to replicate into another sport like football. When we went to the game last night, man, I had so much energy. I could have stayed on the whole 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying at all. And this was coming off of 84-hour water fast, no food in the system.
Yeah.
Usually you'd need carbs to give you that energy to go into the game. And all I had was 1 liter of juice, which is a lot of carbs, but also like not enough to load yourself up. And I actually felt more lethargic, more like shit in my previous week. In my previous week, I was wanted to come off and needed that rest and recovery. But this game, I was like really pumped. So I'm gonna actually do a lot of research and find out what the fuck was that.
Yeah, what's behind it?
Because all three of us were like pumped and actually performing better than we did in the previous weeks.
Yeah.
In terms of our fitness, not our performance or anything,
Yeah,
our fitness was like higher, and I feel like that's that has to do with the water fast a little bit. It would be a factor.
Yeah, for sure.
100% would be a factor. Not the only factor, because it takes a quick time for us to get back into sport readiness because we're all football players. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue into the next topic, which is the impact of sleep and physical and mental performance. So we've come up with like some topics. So like each podcast, we've got a whole bunch of topics that we read off our laptop, but we just roll off them. Pretty much the first one that we want to
make this like fluid.
As fluid as possible.
It's a fluid, like we're not doing this to just like pump you with information. But we want to be very informative and basically tell us our take on topics.
Yeah.
And
that's what a podcast is.
Yeah.
So.
And as time goes on, you're going to be hearing our opinions about things, but also studies and proof, because we both come from like science backgrounds.
Yeah.
But I say science backgrounds like as physical educators.
We like evidence-based stuff.
We like being evidence-based whenever we talk to our clients, but also to you, whoever's our listeners. We haven't really figured out who our listeners are yet.
I think it'll just come if you're interested, or you have friends that are just interested. Pass it on.
Share it around.
Share it around. It's just general talk, general knowledge, and we're not the smartest people in the world, but I mean we talk about stuff with evidence, so evidence based. It's all what we want.
As long as it's evidence based.
That's it.
It's coming from us.
That's it. So yeah, talking about the sleep quality of what we did on our 84-hour fast.
Shit quality, shit duration.
It was terrible, but like today I had a good sleep. So like last night going into today, had a good sleep. I think it was like about 8 hours sleep, which was good. But I went and trained this morning, bro. Like it was different. Like that was the first good sleep I've obviously had in 4 days. But the difference in sleep is so important. Like just for your training, just in general. Like just to hit that 8 hours of
Did you
sleep.
feel good? in your
Bro,
training session?
crazy. It was good. It was a good session. Like obviously didn't want to shock my system and be like, all right, deadlifts, chest press, go like heavy. So I like eased into it, and I still was maintaining the weight that I was doing before.
Oh, good. Yeah,
so
that's
like
alright.
I just the thing is like I just didn't want to shock my body. I didn't want to be like, all right, we're
Go
just gonna
hard
go
sort of
hard
thing.
out
Yeah.
straight off the bat. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this easy. I know I've had good sleep. That was the first thing that I ticked off. I woke up and I had a good breakfast or like a good pre-workout meal, which was just like it was the leb wrap from last
was it?
night. Yeah, I had the
With
leb.
the chicken?
Yeah, and I had that for breakfast, but it was good. It was like protein, a little bit of
Oh, you would have
carbs.
stunk like garlic in the gym.
Oh mate,
You're slack.
I know it's okay. It happens. I didn't put the garlic on it.
Don't
actually.
go to the gym with this guy, right?
But
He's having garlic before sessions.
But yeah, the importance of your sleep duration and sleep quality is super important. And there was a study that showed sleep and athletic performance, Walker 2017. So this study delves into the specific relationship between sleep and various aspects of athletic performance, and it provides insight into the importance of sleep for athletes.
And we're not saying that we're athletes, but we are in the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you become an athlete if you believe you are.
Yeah.
In a way, like if you're following a sport and you're training hard for that sport and you have a specific goal in mind, you don't have to be a pro athlete and get paid for your sport to be called an athlete. But I would say that I am a
Well, you train every day.
mobility athlete.
Yeah,
I train every day
the thing-
for a specific goal. So
Yeah.
that's what an athlete is.
The thing is, like, we're not considered the top tier athlete, but like we do.
We don't get paid for the training we do. All right, preface that.
But yeah, this study, it stood out to me because the study pretty much talks about the sleep and the negative impact on reaction time, accuracy, and overall sport performance. So what they did was they obviously got a bunch of people together. They put a how do you call it? They put a dummy test, and they also put what do you call it? Control and
what's the other one?
control and
Oh, I should know this. The amount of times I've done these
there's
ones.
control tests, and then there's
a
also,
control group, and there's I can't remember.
Anyway, there's 2 groups. They put 2 groups in 2 different categories, and
The difference is like one variable. It's like a variable
Yeah,
one.
there you go.
One is controlled, as in like they have certain things that is all controlled, and the other one is variable. So they kind of give them the same thing, but they don't have like parameters or rules or anything like that. And then they kind of compare the results between the two, and then see what happens.
So one group had good sleep, so they put a bunch of athletes together. One had good sleep, and the other one didn't have good sleep, so they reduced their time for sleep. And it impacted their reaction time, impacted their accuracy, impacted their whole sport performance overall. And that was a really good study because it really showed like the impact of sleep. Sleep helps with recovery. Sleep helps with just overall
Cognitive function, helps with all your performance in sport. And but what's weird about that, right, is just yesterday I had 3 hours sleep before that soccer game, and I performed really well.
It's it depends. It depends on like how you prep your body before. So like beforehand, we were doing a lot of training, a lot of prep, and then we've obviously done the fast, gone into that soccer realm, but our muscle memory was still the same. We just refueled our body properly. Yeah,
but like I feel like scientifically, having 3 hours sleep would mean you'd have a shit performance on the soccer game, right?
Yes.
And you would never want your athlete to have 3 hours sleep the night before a competition. But I felt great in that game. But maybe I feel like if I had 8 hours sleep, I probably would have performed better. So that's where you kind of got to weigh up the pros and cons of both. Because we don't know if I would have performed better if I had 8 hours. I probably performed at my peak performance for the for what I gave my body.
Yeah.
And what I gave my body was 3 hours sleep, no food for 4 days, and a juice before the game. If I gave my body a lot more over 4 days, plus I had 8 hours sleep, I probably would have performed a lot better. Now, what we're trying to say with this is sleep is important, but sleep duration and sleep quality are two different things and two different things you need to think about. Now, everyone can do, not everyone, but like I'm just saying, like 8 hours sleep has been seen as, average Joe can get around 7 to 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
And that tends to be the number that is viewed as a good level for the average population. Now, some people need more, some people are able to function on less.
There's a good podcast, Matthew Walker with Joe Rogan. Watch it. It's all about sleep. That's a really good podcast. We'll link it below. That's a really good one to watch about sleep.
Now, there's also sleep quality. Sleep quality is different to sleep duration.
Yep.
Just because you can have the 8 hour sleep, but that 8 hour sleep could have been crap. And you can test it on watches.
There's those phases. So you
can test it on your watches these days, and it shows you how much REM sleep you got and all that kind of stuff. And there's actually ways that you can actually train your body and train your mind to increase that REM sleep time. And I remember watching that podcast. He talks about that stuff, how meditation and yoga can actually help you improve that REM sleep time. And James Clear talks about it in his book Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
We always talk about Atomic Habits in this podcast. Great book. You should read it. Alia said she didn't like it actually. But anyway, so with Atomic Habits,
it's subjective.
There's what did he say? It's about your environment, right? If your environment or your sleep environment is filled up with things that are not related to sleep, so if you bring your office into your bed, if you bring like a TV into your room and you watch TV shows before bed, your brain is wired onto those things.
Yeah, we spoke about it in the last podcast.
Yeah, we did, yeah. So then you're never going to have a good quality sleep because then while you're sleeping, you're thinking, I forgot to reply to that email, shoot up.
Yeah.
Oh, what episode did I get up to in that episode? Wake up again. So your quality of sleep is shit. Yeah. Whereas if your whole sleep environment is just bed, just sleep, your quality is probably going to improve.
Yeah. Blue light as well before bed. Like taking your phone away from your bed before you sleep improves your quality of sleep as well because you're not stimulated before you go to sleep. And that's another big thing. But sleep quality, the cognitive function of your brain help. Like all sleep. Sleep is like the overall assistant in your mental growth, your life, your physical growth. Like there's just so many benefits to sleep, and the right amount of sleep, the right quality sleep is super, super important.
Like we were talking yesterday about how we're just animals that have evolved. And animals need sleep.
I do.
Quality sleep so you can reset your body to start another day.
Yeah.
And then once you finish that day, you need more sleep to recover so you can have another positive day. Yeah. And that's just how the body works.
And fueling your body is very important too. So like the right amount of fuel for your body, and that's me segueing into the next topic, which is
this guy. We'll call him the segue guy.
segue
man.
So
I like how the Evolv is right in the middle as well.
I know, it's like we've finished a bit more of the artwork as well.
No, not we.
Daniel has.
Okay, Daniel. We're gonna get him on the podcast one day,
and
we'll get him to talk about his mural because it's fucking amazing.
We'll talk about his mural.
This is the Blue Mountains, by the way. For anyone in Sydney that knows what that is, this over here behind where I'm pointing.
I'd love to dissect his brain. I'd love to dissect his brain because like this is
some of this stuff is both of us. Like I told him to draw the three sisters on you. I was like, because he was drawing a mountain. And his mind was just going, I'm just going to draw a mountain. I was like, can you draw the three sisters? Or make it the Blue Mountains. He was like, okay. I drew him here. And then he drew like this road under here. And the boys were like, right, now he's drawing Seacliff. So we've got 3 types of mountains all in Sydney on here somehow.
But yeah, so segueing into our next topic, which is nutrition strategies for optimal brain health. So diet. Food, we're not nutritionists. We don't pledge it, but we know a little bit about it.
I'm seen as a mobility guru
don't do that.
at Dynamic Greek Hub. Not the nutrition guru.
You know what? You segue into it because that was too good for me to even continue speaking. So you continue with it.
According to that, I would like to segue and tell you guys that we're going to talk about nutrition. All right, so we're talking about how sleep is important for cognitive function and getting you into your day and improving athletic performance. But when we say athletic performance, we just think about sport performance, because even if you're just someone that goes to the gym to improve their strength, I'll consider you an athlete, a strength athlete. Is your goal to increase the numbers on that barbell? Strength athlete. Just if you view yourself as an athlete, you're going to treat yourself as one. If you treat yourself as one, you're going to make sure that your sleep is good, but you're also going to make sure your diet's good. And if those two things are already being made good, then why wouldn't you call yourself an athlete?
Yeah.
Your whole life is revolving around improving your strength, but an aspect of your life is. So that aspect of your life is athletic. So how about they look at it like that? That would be good.
Yeah. So
Oh, yes. On this, I'm segueing, all right? I'm segueing. So hydration is key. In that 4-day water fast, I've never drank that much water in my life, all right? So probably drank like 6 liters, I'd say, a day. I filled this thing up to probably 3 times, 2 liters, right? Now, I feel like water plays a massive component in how you feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's probably the most important liquid you should be getting in your
Day-to-day life, other
daily
than
life.
beers.
Well, there you go, guys. That's the end of the podcast. We'll end it there. On the beers.
At Northies.
Actually, to off topic a little bit. When this was around 2019, I started a brand called Ultimate Hydration.
Did you?
I swear.
This guy's been a brand creator since we left school. He's always been like, top trunk, hydration. What's this one? Hydration?
Yeah, Ultimate Hydration.
Ultimate Hydration.
It was a business like solely purposed on like water and just getting the right optimal liquid in your daily routine, and just, I don't know, it was just a brand that I came up with. But yeah, anyway, that just reminded me, hydration, because you started talking about it. But there was a study that we both found. It was called Water, Hydration and Health. It was by Popkin in 2010.
You've got to remember, when it says et al., it means he has like a few other people that were part of his study.
Yes.
We're going to include them because I'm sure they would have had some aspect in it.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I'm so antsy about that,
because
right,
you used to
is
do it
because
at uni.
I've been an et al. Before. So we did a study at uni, and our tutor was obviously the name of the thing, and our whole class was the et als.
Oh my god.
So it was like his name, and then it was like Brendon Silva. Our whole class, because we all were part of the study and we all like wrote aspects of the study in it, and it was like his name et al. 2020 or something like that, and I was like, oh, so I'm just part of this et al. Thing. No one's gonna know my name. But yeah, so et al. Just means that Popkin had multiple people that helped him with the study. Yeah.
So this study talked about the overall health, including cognitive function, of introducing introducing water into your everyday life as opposed to not. And it was shown to show optimal mental and physical well-being. So it actually increased your optimal mental and physical and optimal mental and physical well-being overall.
I was just saying that, like, having the optimal water intake in your life is just gonna optimize more aspects of your mental and physical well-being.
For sure.
So what that, in a nutshell, what kind of means, because that's just a bunch of gibberish words that we just threw at you, right? If you want to think of exactly what it means, if you're just having, 2 glasses of water a day, that's not optimal. It's not the right amount you need.
What is the right amount? What was the point? We did a video on it. It was
Yeah,
like
we did.
0.8 per kilo, 0.8 mils per kilo.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but generally speaking, look up the amount right now. But generally speaking, what I'm trying to say is, if you're not having enough water, there's a few things that will happen. You're gonna feel lethargic. You're gonna feel low energy, or low energy lethargic. You're gonna feel like that. I notice when I don't have enough water, I end up having like power naps or needing one, in a way. And one thing I noticed when I was focusing more on water is my performance in all of my life was a lot better. I felt like I was very quicker with my words. I was a lot quicker with my writing. I was a lot more fluid with my training. Let's see. What does it say?
So, women should have about 2 liters or 8 cups of fluid a day, and men should be having at least 2.6 liters per day.
Yeah, but it doesn't take into account weight,
activity.
activity,
Yeah,
all that
for
kind of
sure.
stuff.
That's just
a
overall
general
basic.
guideline from a government website.
Yeah.
Freaking me. So you just looked up a government website, which is a general recommendation, which is good, like 2 liters to 3 liters, which we said is a general guideline. 2 to 3 liters is like the level that everyone should be drinking. However, if you're on the heavier side or you're type of person that trains a lot, you might need more. You just got to factor those types of things in. I would not include the water you take after a fitness endeavor as the amount of intake you're taking. Just add that as an extra. So let's say you're like the average weight for your age, whatever. You should be having around 2 to 3 liters. Say you play sport that day and then you have a liter of water during that sport activity. That's only an extra. So you should still have 2-3 liters plus that extra liter. So you should have 4 to 5 in that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good calculator. Powerade calculator. What was the temperature that day? Let's say 25 degrees.
No, it was at least 30.
At least 30. Yesterday?
Yeah.
Let's say 29. All right, moderate activity level.
Heavy.
Okay.
It's a football game, man.
Yeah. Male, 80 kilos.
I'm short.
181. Calculate your results.
1.37 bottles of Powerade, mate.
Oh, it's a Powerade calculator.
Okay, you can see we're not all there today.
We're still easing in out of the.
Let's go back to the water intake. All right, so this is a good one. Mindset and how your mindset influences goal achievement. So we have talked about. I feel like we talked about it before, like a growth and a fixed mindset. When we started. When me and Ray came together last year, it would have been around this time, like October, November last year. We were talking a lot about, before we started any business, anything like that, we were always talking about business, but never actually talking about starting one. So we've always kind of talked about that type of world all the time. Yeah. But we weren't specifically talking about business. We were talking about personal growth and mindset and all that kind of stuff. And there was one topic I remember we always talked about, which was the growth mindset. And what a fixed mindset is, what a growth mindset is, and how we needed to become more growth mindseted people. And I remember this guy always saying to me, Brendon, you need to have a more growth mindset. Because there was a few parts of my life at that time where I was very fixed and I was very like, nah, this is a road I'm taking. And I was very fixed on that. And he was like, look at the options.
Yeah.
Look at the road. Look at the roads, man.
The beauty of it is, the analogy that I like to use is when you go on a road trip, do you just look at what's in front of you, or do you look around and say, oh, that's a nice hill, or oh, look, there's sheep.
I'm a little bit of a fairy when I'm on a road trip. Like, there's a map to get there. I'll go the Brendon way. Everyone knows this. So I was saying to her yesterday, I go to Jervis Bay a lot. And it's a 2.5 hour drive from where I live. Takes me 3.5. And that's because I go my own way to get there. I know that it's just south coast near the water. So what I do is I just drive south near the water. That's what I do. I take different roads. I don't really follow the highways. I just want to be next to the water, take in the scenery, might stop here and there just to enjoy the pies and New South Wales best pies, because every pie shop down the coast is
the
New South
donuts.
Wales best pies.
The donuts as well. The donut van.
Oh, those donut vans are
Donut
cracker.
van's a cracker.
Yeah.
But to go back onto what we were talking about, yeah,
growth and fixed.
my analogy.
Oh, you tell everyone what the growth and fixed mindset is.
So having a fixed mindset just means you're locked into what you want to achieve, which is great and all. But if you're locking into an end goal, you're solely focusing on that, and you're not worrying about the external stuff around you.
No, really. What's fixed mindset? What is fixed mindset? It's a bit different to that. Pretty sure, isn't it?
There's different definitions. This is just my definition of it.
Your take on it.
My take on it. When you have a fixed mindset, it's good to have. It has its benefits. It has its perks. So there's obviously pros and cons to it. Having a growth mindset.
That's actually a really good take on it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go on.
Then there's having a growth mindset. Having a growth mindset is always being, what was it? Always being able to acknowledge change and always being able to accept your surroundings for what they are instead of letting them affect you emotionally, physically.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah.
So like fix is more like on the basis that there's one road and there's only one road to achieve it. But then the growth mindset states that like there's 10 million roads to get to that direction. You don't have to follow one, you can follow 10 and get there in different time frame or whatever.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be fixed on just one road or one person or one thing.
Yeah.
There's always chances to take things from the outside world.
Yeah.
And one key thing with this growth mindset is to always think that you can always learn.
Yeah.
Learning is a big thing.
I think keeping your mind open.
Keep your mind open to learning. Like, listen to this podcast. Yeah, we talk about evidence. Yeah, we talk about things. But we're also talking about our opinions. Be open to learning, but be open to also knowing that we might be wrong.
Yeah.
And be also open to knowing that because we might be wrong, we're being open with that and honest. And we want you to take whatever we say with a grain of salt and think, oh, that's a good point what they've said. But how can I take what they've said and add it to my life and maybe change it that benefits me in a better way?
I think being open-minded is a very key...
It's a big skill that I feel like everyone should have in their life.
It's a big key skill that you...
I feel like everyone in their life should have...
For sure.
A growth mindset.
It's
not really a growth mindset, but like a mindset to grow and learn and develop.
I think it's important to be... as open-minded as possible. Like back in the day, I used to be very closed with my mind. Like I'd get offended easily. You know, you boys would roast me and I'd be like, oh man, this is what they think of me. But it's like, it's super important to not take everything to heart and learn from each situation.
Especially when you're with the boys.
That's different. That's like...
That's just
being with the boys is like being with the boys.
Like if you're a girl watching this, you might not understand it too much. Maybe you do. But, you know, boys just roast the fuck out of each other. But it's all love. And
we only roast people we love.
Yes. Oh, that's a big thing, actually. We only roast people we love. I will never roast someone that I dislike. And I feel like that's very strange and very weird, but it makes sense in my head. Because, like... the people I roast, I actually care about, and I actually like them. I like their company, and I'm roasting them out of how would you describe it?
The relationship that we have, it all depends on the relationship you create with the people around you. So like, what's that saying? Treat someone like you would want to be treated.
Yeah.
And
I like being roasted, so that's why I roast. Growth mindset. Because if I roast, then someone's going to roast me. I'm going to take it. I'm like, okay, you said that. You know, I'll get roasted a lot about my hairline. That's why I wear a hat now.
You get a respect point.
I get a respect point. That's the one.
But yeah, like the mindset is definitely your key to
success in any
realm. Growth, development, business. Like you've got to be. I don't know how to explain it, but the drive that you get from learning of other people is so
so much more
liberating.
fulfilling.
It's very fulfilling and liberating.
Shit. If you think that you know everything there is to know about what you're doing,
You don't.
and if you work together with other people in your life, you're only going to elevate yourself, but you're also going to elevate the other person. If you can teach them something and they teach you something, you've both gained something, and now your brain's just evolving into this new state.
I think.
And if you think you're just stuck in this path and you know, like, I know everything there is to know about this field,
Yeah.
and then closed to change.
Here's a great example. When I got back from Europe, I came back with a very open mind. I came back with the mindset that, okay, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fall apart. I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to go through the roller coaster. That's fine. But I know at the end of the day, I've developed a bit more of a thicker wall to where I can't break down. So that's the power of being open, having an open mindset or a growth mindset, is that you can always, as much as shit brings you down, you can always bounce back from it. It's not like it's always going to pull you down every single day. And that's the roller coaster. You ride the wave, you go back down. You ride the wave, you go back down.
Just ride the wave,
Ride the
man.
wave.
Ride the wave.
But yeah, like if you're constantly hard on yourself and you're fixed in that headspace of, damn, I'm always going to be wrong. Damn, I'm always going to do this wrong. Damn, I'm not improving. My sales isn't improving. My business is failing. My this is that. It's just going to be a snowball effect of you
Well, I
just
haven't
rolling.
got that promotion yet.
Yeah, like it's just snowball affecting down to a negative headspace. And then you step out of it and you go, okay, let's take a deep breath, bit of meditation, whatever you do, put a bit of sleeping music on, whatever suits you. But you go, okay, how now this is the fun part. How can I learn to get out of this rut? Okay, I can focus on my physical health. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go train. I'm going to focus on getting jacked or feeling better or going for a run. Okay, cool. There's one thing. What else can I add to this? And then you're constantly adding to this list of things to
Habit stacking.
Yeah, habit stacking. You're constantly growing out of that fixed mindset of you being something you're not into something that you want to be, into something that you will be.
Yes. Habit stacking, your ideal lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Now, I don't like to talk about this guy too much, but Andrew Tate.
Mate.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a quote from Andrew Tate. He talks about how if you go into a downward spiral, so if you're just if you pick up drinking, if you pick up all these bad habits, they're just gonna compound and put you into a bad spiral. You get this thing called depression. He doesn't believe in depression, but if he starts saying, like, if you start thinking, oh, I have depression, oh, it's my job.
Yeah.
And you start getting all these negative thoughts and behaviors.
You spiral out.
You spiral down. He says it's called a downward spiral, and you're just going to keep on going down, keep on going down, keep on going down. The further down you go, the harder it is to come back up.
Yeah.
He talks about it like going down a mountain. If you keep on going down a mountain, it's going to be harder for you to get to the top of the mountain. Yeah. And then he says, instead reverse it. If you want to succeed, or you want success in your life, start thinking in an upward spiral. Start thinking positively about your life. Oh, I'm doing good here. Oh, wow, I just achieved success here. Oh, wow, I'm actually feeling good right now about this. Oh, wow, I'm training. I feel pumped. Wow. And then upward spiral is just going to produce better results. And, he talks a lot of shit about weird things, and a lot of people do see him as this negative guy about the stuff he says about women, which I don't like as well. But stuff like that makes a lot of sense. When he talks about business and careers and achieving success, you can't fault him on that, to be fair.
He doesn't talk too bad about women. There's things that he's said in the past that have been very, very controversial.
But I feel like it's the way people have viewed what he said.
Yeah, like they're taking it out of context.
They're taking it out of context, for starters. And also, I feel like he said a lot of things to gain traction in a way. Like, it was more of a, what can I say that will spark controversy, but also get people to view my shit.
Yeah.
And he did that well by saying things that people could see it in a negative way, but
Yeah.
it's actually not a negative way what he said.
Well, when you become the most Googled man on the
Yeah,
planet,
it has to be controversial.
like you
right?
have to be somewhat
He's-
controversial.
His views are very traditional,
But
but
him coming out of jail was probably the biggest turning point for him. Like he's come out and he's now changed his mindset to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to change the whole narrative of what people think of me. I'm going to go and do all these interviews and re-explain everything that I had said. He backed every single thing that he said in like one Piers Morgan interview, I think it was, or some other guy.
yeah, he's done it a few times now.
And now, like, the thing is...
And now people have come out saying, oh, I love Andrew Tate now. I love him.
100%.
He's such a good guy.
But that's, like, his mindset going into jail and coming out, another segue here, was all down to his habits and his behavior change. So they were like the two main things that I personally saw come out of him from prior to jail to after jail, because you're confined. You're in a fixed mindset. You can only do so much in those four walls.
Yeah.
You're
And he had to like...
controversy being shoved on you and this being shoved on you and this allegation and that allegation.
Yeah, he talks a lot about how he was going into a negative spiral.
Yeah.
But then he didn't let that negative spiral affect him in that moment. He was with his brother in his jail cell and he was like, look, we're going to make the best out of a shit situation. So they started like talking a lot of shit about how they felt like they were being recorded, and they were apparently. So he started talking about all this stuff that made no...
Rush Hour 2.
Yeah, Russia. He talks about the Rush Hour 2 story or something, just to take the absolute piss out of him.
Yeah.
But what we were talking about habits and stuff is going back to that book, Atomic Habits. We have... I wouldn't say we formed our business around this, but we're massive on habits, and we feel like our business has been formed around habit formation, habit creation, habit stacking. We've all read the book, Atomic Habits, not together, we just read it at different times. And ever since then, to this day, and I feel like it's going to become a part of our life forever, we're always talking about like, oh mate, look, cues. Oh mate, look at that. No,
Yeah, like
that's not Atomic Habits right there.
We remind each other of what the book...
So that book is always running in our head. Like, what's the thing? I think Ray saw... you saw something in my room once that was like...
I was like, you can't be having that. It was like a little purse, and that purse reminded me of a habit that I am not proud of, but I used to smoke weed a lot, as a lot of people venture into, and he had it in his room, and I'm like, Brendon, that's a cue. Like, if that's in my vicinity, and this was ages ago, but if that's in my vicinity,
it's going to be going through his head,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
think, oh, I could smoke this weekend.
Yeah,
I could do this.
And it changes your mindset, and you go, bang, you view yourself in that queue, and then you just sort of chase it again, and it pulls you back down. And that was probably like the biggest part of the book that was inspirational to us, that we took great inspiration to put it onto us as a group.
And our business,
and
but
business
it's
and-
our life as
Yeah.
well. So when we talk about our business, you got to remember we view this business as our life too, because it is our life. What we do every day is our life, and our life is our business.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, like they bounce off each other. They both have their equality in
Yeah,
but-
exactly. Because it's our business, so we get to do whatever the fuck we want. No, so with our we do this thing in our business called a 66-day challenge. We'll probably put the link here so that people can join it if they want to get involved in something like that. But what a 66-day challenge is we got 66 days for you to form and create a new habit in your life.
Yeah.
And what that means is you're going to add something new to your life. And we feel like it will take you 66 days before it actually becomes a part of your life.
And it can be as basic as a walk. Like if you never walked before, you've
Or
never
brushing
done
your teeth.
or brushing your teeth, or
I hope you still brush your teeth every day. But like, there's
something as
some spinners
basic,
out there,
yeah,
you know?
something as basic as like being able to walk every single day for 66 days, and then you just fall into the habit of, all right, I'm just going to go for a walk today, 10 minutes around the block, perfect. I've gotten some steps in, sweet. But that 66 days is so important because it's like, okay, what can I do in the next 66 days to add another habit? And then that's where
And
the
then you
habit
start creating habit stacking. So
changes your
we
behavior,
talked about it
changes
before
everything.
in this one podcast about habit stacking, and I was talking to one of our trainers,
Yeah.
one of our trainers before, and she was saying habit layering, and I had to correct it. It's habit stacking. Right? It's habit stacking. So what it means, what habit stacking basically means is, and she actually came up with a really good example, is, you know, you brush your teeth, then straight after brushing your teeth, you do something else. So something that you do religiously every single day. Let's say you have breakfast at the same time every single day, then after breakfast, you do something else. And then that means every time you have breakfast, you're going to register that habit as, oh, that's what I do after breakfast.
Yeah.
So then if you do that every single day, what's going to happen is your brain's always going to register after breakfast, you're doing something else.
Yeah.
So if you really want to add a 10-minute walk every day into your life, the easiest way to do that is to put it straight after something that you do religiously.
Yeah.
If you brush your teeth first thing in the morning, then brush your teeth and then adding some other habit after it could be the key to getting you to actually add it to your life.
Well, think about it.
Stacking.
A subconscious habit that we've all created is going to sleep. That's a habit.
Yeah.
Sleeping is a habit.
Sleeping is
So
habit.
like
So if you do
subconsciously,
something before it,
yeah, subconsciously your
habit
brain,
stack.
subconsciously, you know you have to sleep at night. That's just the way that your life is curated. So
and for most people, it's probably the same time or thereabouts.
as soon as the sun goes down, what do? You sleep.
No.
What do you mean no?
Do you go to bed at 6 p.m. every day?
Depending. Time varies, you buffhead. But like what I'm saying is, obviously, sun goes down in a general state.
People are winding down.
People are winding down.
Yeah.
And
Well, it
that's
depends
a
on the
habit.
people because hospitality, you're out to...
It's an analogy. Just let it be. All right. As the sun goes down, the brain automatically goes, okay, I want to switch off. Unless you're forced to by some means of work, then yes.
My client's a pilot.
Oh my God. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm not talking anymore. But what I'm saying is, subconsciously, you have these
You
habits
have to sleep every day.
Yes.
People sleep at different times, but everyone sleeps.
The habit that you fall into is sleep. Like that's just automatically, okay, what can I do next? All right, before I go to bed, I know I got to brush my teeth. So before I sleep, I got to brush my teeth. Cool, there's another habit stacked on. Okay, what do I do before I sleep, before I brush my teeth? I have dinner. Okay, cool, there's 3 habits now. Cool, so that's stacked. What can I do before I sleep, before I brush my teeth, before dinner? I can train. I've got time to train. Oh, cool. So now you've stacked 4 habits on one day. Perfect.
And some of those things have already been in your life for a long time.
Yeah.
You're just adding something new to it. And we're not trying to say create a full scheduled life.
For sure.
I know that sounds like shit. Who would want their whole life scheduled?
Yeah.
But if you really want to add this new aspect of your life to become the new you, then that's how you're going to do it. Because if you think about it like this, if you have this ideology that you want this certain target or you want to achieve this certain physique goal or you want to start running a marathon, you know, if you want to run a marathon, you need to become a runner first. You know, you need to become a runner first. The way to become a runner first is to run.
That's got to be
Plain and simple.
And you know
then
what?
to run, you have to run every week. And if you want to run every week, you have to make sure it's in your life somewhere.
And you do
If
that
that
for
means
66 days.
every Tuesday after breakfast at 10 a.m. You run.
Yeah.
Habit stacking.
There we go.
After breakfast on Tuesdays, I run.
It all comes down to the mindset. If you're fixed on just, okay, I've got to wake up, I've got to brush my teeth, got to have breakfast, got to go to work, got to come home, cook dinner, sleep, and then
I do feel like this concept is confusing and hard for a lot of people to
wrap their head around.
It takes a long time for me to instill these types of thoughts and changes in my clients.
It's not a natural thought process though, for some people.
I would say it's like an entrepreneurial mindset.
It is because it steps
our
you
whole
outside
life
your
is
comfort
scheduled.
zone.
I'm sorry, but my life is scheduled as fuck.
Yeah.
If it's not in my schedule, I'm not doing it. That's just how I've kind of created my life. That's how my business runs. That's how our business runs. Our whole schedule is kind of we're doing this at this time, we're doing this at this time. These podcasts are created at the same time every week, or thereabouts, because we run on a schedule. If it's not scheduled, then you can't just in the fairies. What are you doing?
Well,
you don't know what you're doing with your time.
You can't balance your life. Next segue.
You can't balance your life, exactly. No, it is all about making sure that you have balance in your life. You can't just be a drill sergeant that does this every single day, because that's shit.
Who is it? David Goggins.
Yeah, you can't be a David Goggins.
If you look,
I love that guy.
I love him. I love his mindset. I love his drive. I love the journey that he's been on. If you can do that,
Have you read his book?
No, not yet.
Oh, you haven't? You should actually read it.
Yeah,
I've got it. So
do you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've read it. It's actually a good book. I don't know if I have it now. Someone might have taken it from me, but I'll check in my room. He was 350 pounds or something.
Yeah,
he was a big boy,
Big boy.
massive. And then he lost all this weight in like 2 months or 3 months to try and just make it into Navy SEALs, and he just missed it.
I remember seeing a video on it.
And he was like, fuck you, I'm doing it next year. Next year came and he entered it and he's blitzed everyone somehow.
He was doing 100k marathons, like ultra marathons, and like crazy
Still
stuff.
now.
Yeah, still now to this day.
With broken legs,
He's
broken
training
shins.
Tony Ferguson now, the
Is he?
UFC fighter. Yeah.
Oh, there we
He's
go.
a full coach. But there's there's that extreme, and there's obviously the balance that he can do it. He can do that because that's what his now life has been created around.
Yeah.
His whole life is like motivation and motivational talks and speeches and this and that, but he'll always find some sort of time to train or like put a motivational video on or like just, he always has that time. But he's found that balance in his career because now he's developed a career to a point where he can do those things now.
100%.
So,
and I've always struggled with balance, like work-life balance.
Yeah,
I've always struggled. We both have struggled with work-life balance. Like, I'm doing, like last time I checked my schedule, I think it's around 50 to 60 hours when we worked it out.
Yeah.
And that's including like our podcasts. That's including
everything.
Our sessions. Like our work life takes up around 50 to 60 hours. And this isn't us trying to be like, oh, yeah, we work 60 hours. Like, it's not about that. It's about we still make sure that we include the other aspects of our life that we enjoy into our life. Like gym, for me, has gone down my priority list because I was focusing on so many other things in my life, and that kind of fell down.
Like surviving for the past 4 days.
Yeah, well, surviving for the past 4 days was more important, right? So, but the thing is, like, gym will always find its way back up the priority list. I feel like there comes points in your life where you're going to realize we talked about last time, the 5 priorities.
Yep.
The 5 priorities that you got in your life. Sometimes, they're going to change around. They're going to change around. And something that was at your top priority list one week might change and go down the pecking order.
But they're still in your top 5.
Yeah. But what happens is maybe that week you won't be able to do something that was important to you and you're doing every day in that next week because something else came up. But it's still in your week. So like an example of this would be like, let's say 1 week you train 6 days a week, but then the following week you definitely can't do 6 days because something else has come up that's become more of a priority that takes up that gym time. Then what you got to do is say, okay, I still want gym here. Maybe I'll only go like 1 to 4 times instead because something else has become more important. You're still doing both. You're just doing balancing out according to what is happening in your life. We're not drill sergeants. Because we're PTs doesn't mean we train like maniacs all day like David Goggins. We still have balance with every aspect of our life, but what we're trying to teach you is just because training and exercise is important and you should have it in your life doesn't mean it has to be an every single day thing. Yeah. I guess that's a key takeaway. They should make it part of their lives, but don't force yourself to do it because then you're going to end up hating it.
You do have to find that balance. Balance is very, very important. Like even like my business name is Recovery Dynamic Balance, RDB. But balance is like the forefront of something that I didn't really put into perspective when I was younger or like up until the point of changing my fixed mindset into a growth mindset. Like I was always stuck in the fact of I have to people please, I have to do this, I have to do that, like spreading myself very, very thin. And then learning about balance was so important because then, okay, if I just take a step back and I look at what I have to do, okay, I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. I can do the other things the next day. Cool. I've balanced it. So now I know what I have to do today. Tomorrow I have to do these things, and then you can go back and forth. Reevaluating your personal life, your personal well-being is probably should be at your top priority, because at the end of the day, you are in your own body.
Yeah.
You are inside your own mind. You are the only person seeing through your eyes. If you know that you're stressing way too much than you need to be, well, what does that tell you? You need to take a step back,
There's something happening.
balance it all out, reevaluate it, write it all down if you need to. Write everything down that is important to you, or things that you need to get done, and go, okay, what do I need to do now that's important? What book was it in? There was a book that was it Atomic Habits? The crosshatch, like what's important.
Oh, that was a trip out book I gave you to read.
Yeah, the decision book, the decision making book.
Decision-making
that's
book,
right. That's where I saw it, and it was it was a divide of 4. So it was like, what's important, or what do you need to do now? What do you need to do later? I can't remember really.
Oh, and it was segmenting in your life, segmenting
priorities
and stuff like that.
That's right.
It was like, what's important now and has to be done.
Yeah.
What's important but can be done later.
Yeah.
What is not important but needs to be done now.
Yeah.
What's not important but can be done later. Obviously, there's a bottom sector over here. Shit, throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
Don't have to probably delegate that shit.
Yeah.
What's not important but has to be done now is kind of where would you say that's a delegate one. This one you throw in the bin. Fuck it. This one you kind of delegate. What's important but doesn't need to be done now. You can't just wait for it to happen. And then this one you just get it done ASAP. So this is what you would call your frog. And you get your frogs done straight away.
I'm trying to find it. I want to find it so I can at least show you like the visual of it. But it is the decision book. Here, this one.
Oh yes, that's the one.
From the decision book. I'll see if I can bring it
I'm
up.
glad you actually remember it and read that.
It hit me like literally as we were speaking.
The reason I'm saying that is because
so it has like those 4 important things. So it goes, what's urgent but important, what's not urgent, and what's not important. The urgent,
I was right.
Yeah, you were. The urgent and important is the things you do first. The important but not urgent you do later. The urgent but not important you delegate, and the non-urgent and not important you eliminate completely.
I have the weirdest memory. The weirdest memory.
It was good. And sometimes he has these things called bulbers. We should actually put a little light bulb here for you.
No, they did.
Where
did they put it?
Oh, up there. Yeah, but you need one here. I think that's where the light bulb goes because it's right on top.
Maybe get him to draw one just
I'll
here.
get him to draw one there. Perfect spot.
But yeah, so that book, right? I don't know why. So I got that book because I'm very would you say weird about stuff like that? It was definitely a weird book. It was an out of the ordinary book.
It was It was a good book. I just didn't. I don't know where that came from in my brain. But the decision book. It's called the Decision Book. 50 Models for Strategic Thinking.
And it was all models. So like every page had like a different model.
Yeah.
And my brain has always been wired that way from when I did economics because it was like supply and demand, and I used to draw graphs, and it was all models, and it was all theories based on the models.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what that book was kind of on. And when I gave it to Ray, I was like, you'll probably find this book a bit trippy.
Yeah,
but then he read the whole thing and he was highlighting it, and I was like, wait a second, he's getting this.
Yeah, I'm glad I remembered that because that obviously ties in with what we were just talking about, which is balance. So like writing something out as simple as that is...
You know what's good? If they draw that table, we should actually put the
Here's
table...
a task for you, all right? Just before we end the podcast, we have a task for you. We want you to draw this table on a piece of paper. Write down what is urgent, what's important, what's not urgent, what's not important. Put it in that graph.
Put it on dot points first.
Put it in dot points.
Put it into that
and
graph.
then divide it off and put it in that graph. What you think should be there.
And then your top left column should be your frogs or the things that you do straight away, first part of the day. Yeah. Not urgent but important. You start ticking off at the end, but then you start noticing if you have no more time, then you can just delay them. But you're urgent, important, do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do that. Give it a go. It'll definitely help. We've spoken about a lot today. We've spoken about habits, behavior change, the mindset, nutrition, and we've also spoken about sleep.
And we talked about our water fast,
and our water
quite
fast
a bit
as well. So yeah, give us a follow. Make sure to subscribe. Also put in.
If you want to see,
oh my God, is that a wasp? I'm sorry, I didn't do anything to you.
That's a good way to end the podcast.
There we go. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for listening. And from Brendon and I, we're out. Peace.
Cheers.